Good morning. Good morning. It's a cold day today. Really, really cold. like, okay, guys. So I have this mic here because I was recording a course and I put the mic into my laptop and changed the settings on my laptop to recognize the mic. And then when I finish the course and I try to record on my laptop without the mic, my laptop doesn't recognize the laptop microphone anymore. Like it's crazy. Anyway, long story. So now I'm stuck with this mic. Good morning. Good morning. If you're just watching me for the first time and you're watching this on replay, please leave me a message and say hashtag replay. Let me know you watched it on replay. But if you're here on live, leave me a message. Let me know you're watching me live. I love to see when people are live here. So this is another Ask Me Anything Autism. So if you have any questions, please type it in and I'll do my best to answer. From a parent's perspective, I'm not a professional and I'm not a therapist, but I'm a parent who has done this many years with my son Williams. And I have tips, and I think I have pro tips. People tell me that my tips are really good. So I want to share them. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I will love to answer your questions. But today I'll be talking about, while I wait for someone to ask me a question, I'll be talking about the horror really of raising an autistic child by yourself. Yes, that's what I want to talk about today. I don't know why, but my spirit just says talk about it. And when I say raising an autistic child by yourself, I don't mean like you're a single mom or a single dad. You could even have a spouse, but that spouse just either doesn't believe that their child has autism or they just don't want to be involved. Believe it or not, there are people like that, right? So if you're if you're one of those people, then this live is for you. I'm going to be talking about all the things that I had to go through in the beginning, because in the beginning of William's diagnosis, his dad did not believe that he was autistic. His dad was in denial, which happens to a lot of parents, to be honest. So his dad was in denial, and I had to go through a lot by myself. And it's horrific when you have to do it by yourself, because raising a child with autism is, I think raising children, period, requires like a whole village. Like you cannot do it by yourself. You have to have cousins and aunties and uncles that help in raising a child. That's my belief. I know it's different over here in America, but in Nigeria, like it's like the whole family, the extended family. We all raise the children together. We all scold the child when they go wrong. We don't have to wait for the child's parent to come do it. No, that's not how we do it in Nigeria. But I think in America, that's how they do it. Like, oh, I'll let your mom come handle it, that kind of thing. But in Nigeria, that's not how we do it. But when it comes to raising an autistic child, we need a whole lot of people, and people who are accepting of the child, right? Not people who do not accept his diagnosis or think that he's just being stubborn. No, we don't need those kind of people around. People who accept his diagnosis, they accept who he is, they accept that he needs help. We need all those kind of people around us to help us raise a child with autism. Jeanette. Petty. Jeanette, do I know Jeanette? What can I do to help get a learning computer through government paying for it? And what are great toys or gifts for Christmas? Okay. I do not know the answer to that question. I'm so sorry. I know that the government gives AAC devices that helps kids to communicate, but I really don't know the procedure to get it. Now, for us, Williams has his therapy through regional center. Janet, where are you at? What state are you at? Do you guys have regional center? Because if you do, then you may want to go through the regional center to tell them that your child needs the AAC device. Is that what you're talking about? Or wait, when you say learning computer, I don't know about just any computer. I think the AAC device that helps them to speak, that's the one that, or that helps them to communicate, I should say. That's the one that the government will pay for. North Carolina. Okay, cool. So if you have, let me see, let me Google it. North Carolina Regional Center. I think you guys have one. Regional Center. Regional Center. North Carolina. Wake County Northern Regional Center. Wake Forest. It's in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Yeah, let me be sure this is what they do. Well, I see one Wake. Oops. Sorry. Sorry. Well, I see one regional center at North Carolina. Those are, you might want to, yes, that help communicate. We're talking. Yes, that's right. So yeah, you want to go through your regional center. You want to go through your regional center, and I think since you're at North Carolina, you're probably getting therapy through your regional center, or if not, ask your therapy company that you need one, and then ask regional center. Regional center, I think, is your best bet, because that's, even though I haven't used it, but I know regional center also helps with like discounts for Disney tickets and all of those things. So regional center will be your best bet. But I don't know if you're just watching me for the first time, but Williams doesn't need communication device, and that's why I don't know about that. But if I had to get one, I would first ask my regional center and ask the therapy company that I'm working with how to get one. Sorry, I don't have a definite answer for you. So, what are great toys or gifts for Christmas? So, with Williams, before he could tell me what he wanted, every time for Christmas, I would get something that would teach him something while I'm not there. So, like, our toys are old now. I don't even know where they are. I think I gave them away, but there were toys that he could press on and it would say the alphabets and the phonic sounds, and A for apple, those kind of things. Those were the toys I would get for Williams before he started talking. And then when he started talking, I would have him tell me what toy he wanted. I don't know if that helps. So if your child can communicate, whether it's through, I think for right now, before you get the AAC device, maybe they can type into an iPad. I don't know. I don't know how old is your child? If you don't mind me asking. Because it would depend on where the child is when it comes to their reasoning. If your child can tell you what they want, then let them tell you what they want. If it's too expensive, say what else? Give me options. Right? Yeah, but before Williams could tell me, it would have to be something that I feel will teach him something, even while I'm not there. Like when he's playing with the thing, he's learning some kind of communication. Those were the toys that I got. So Williams did not get toys like Legos or anything like that. I was just focused on things that would communicate with him. Those were the kind of toys that I got. All right, Janet, I hope I answered your question. So I said today we're going to talk about the horrors of raising an autistic child by yourself. It is horrific. It is horrific. And I said I was going to talk about what happened to me in the beginning, because William's daddy was in total denial. He would not believe, even though William's pediatrician told us that Williams wasn't developing as he should. He was still in denial. And I just moved here from Nigeria. So I'm like, okay, if you say they don't know what they are saying, okay, I'll believe you. I believe you, my husband. So that was my take on it at the time. And I think a part of me wanted to believe him because, of course, I didn't want to hear that there was anything wrong with my child, right? I didn't want to believe that. So I believed him. And so the next checkup that Williams went to, the pediatrician was very upset that we hadn't done anything because she wanted us to go to the regional center to apply for services and all of those things, to apply for him to get diagnosed and all of those things. But we didn't do it, so she was very upset. And so she had she had a social worker from the hospital do the application for us. I'm just glad that she didn't even tell them, hey, these people are negligent. call CPS or something. No, she didn't do that. She called the social worker and she said they need help with the application. Could you help them apply to the regional center? And that's what they did. And so the social worker helped us apply, and and then I got a call, and then the whole process started. So in the beginning, right, because I just moved here from Nigeria and I wasn't driving, I didn't know where anything was. Like, I was just a naive person. And then with a husband that was in denial, it was hard for me to get to the places that they wanted me to go to, because Williams was 2 years and I think 3 months, because Zita was 2 months old at the time. Williams is 2 years and a month or less older than Zita. So he was about 2 years and 3 months. And he wasn't eligible to be diagnosed for autism yet, but they did some screening and they found that he needed some services, but they wanted us to wait until he was 3 to be diagnosed for autism, right? So when they did that screening and they said, yes, he needed some services like early education, like playtime at play centers for autism and all of those things. When they said that, I couldn't get to those centers by myself. I needed someone to drive me there, but his daddy wouldn't do it. So I had to figure out a way to get there by myself, right? So I had a stroller that would take one child, the stroller that we bought when we had Williams. And so I put Zita in the stroller and I would find some money somewhere. I don't know. You know how these things just appear when you are willing. When you have the will, it will appear. So I'll find some money somewhere and I'll get on the bus, pushing Zita on the stroller and holding Williams with one hand. And we will get on the bus and we would go to the centers where they had other autistic children and games and workers who were just there taking care of these children. And I had to be there too as well. So we would go in the bus and we would go there. And like I said, I wasn't working, I didn't have money. So I would take the bus one way down that road. And when we get to our stop, we'll get down, and then I would have to walk with Williams all the way into that street because I couldn't afford to get on another bus into the street. I would just save the money for our way back home, right? So we would walk down that road into the street. Now that I think about it, I feel so sorry for Williams, but that's what we did and that's what we had to do. And so that's why I feel like if you're raising an autistic child by yourself, it's just a terrible thing because you need so much help, right? So me and my autistic son would walk and we would push Zita down the stroller, and it was quite a walk. Like, it wasn't close to the road at all. So we would walk down there and we'll go into the center and he would play for 2-3 hours. And then we will walk back to the road to get the bus to go back home. So we did that a few times before his dad, I think it dawned on him that, okay, if you're not taking this woman, she's going to keep taking the bus. so he started to take us to the center. But, that kind of thing just puts a lot of workload on you, the single parent that is doing everything. And again, when I say single, I don't mean that you're really single. I mean, like, you have an uncooperative spouse, right? It puts a whole lot of workload on you because now when we go and take all that work and go there and walk, sorry, and go there and walk back and all of those things. Now I'm drained. Now I do not even have the energy to pour into my child the way I'm supposed to. Now I don't have the energy to even implement some of the things that I saw them doing at the center, right? Because with children on the spectrum, you have to, even when they have therapy, you have to watch the therapist, see what they do. And when they leave, you have to continue to implement those strategies for it to actually make a great impact and for it to work, right? So now without help, I don't have the energy to do it, or it's taken from my energy. I try to do as much as I can, but I really don't have the energy to pour into the child the way I'm supposed to. So that can really affect the child moving forward in terms of who is teaching him, who is pouring into him, who has the time to learn the child, who has the time to play with the child, because they need you to play one-on-one with them. They need you to teach them one-on-one. Kids that are neurotypical will hear us talking, right? Because children assimilate language by hearing, right? So they'll hear us talking and they're listening and they're hearing and they're kind of understanding. It's helping them to understand the language better, right? But kids on the spectrum, if you're talking to, say, I'm talking to another adult in the house, depending on the level of the child. So if I'm talking to another adult and a child, most kids that are on the spectrum are hearing gibberish. Like, it doesn't make any sense to them. They're not gaining understanding. And that's why we have to spend time talking to them one-on-one on their level, right? So if you don't have the energy to do that because you're doing everything by yourself, then it's taken away from that time that you're supposed to spend doing the one-on-one with your child and pouring into your child, right? And when I say we need time with our autistic children, I don't mean like you have to be a stay-at-home mom like I was. No, because even as a stay-at-home mom, I was tired and needed my own time sometimes. So even as a working parent, you can still get that one-on-one time. So it's more about quality, not quantity, right? But it's important that we all find a way to carve out time to spend with our autistic children. If you don't do that, you're hurting their growth. You are. There's no two ways around it. Like, there's no other way around it. You're hurting their growth. You have to carve out time to spend with them, to play with them, to interact with them, for them to learn more. Especially if you're trying to get them to speak, you have to spend time to do that. So anyway, like I said, when it comes to raising an autistic child, you need cooperative teachers. You need the therapists to be awesome people who love your child truly and want to help your child grow or become better. You need another spouse that is cooperative, because what happens is, if you're the only spouse that is implementing strategies and probably discipline, then even for every child, they will love the parent that is not that is not giving them consequences, right? That's the one that they love the most. But with an autistic child, I think they even take it further. They tend to think that the one that is giving discipline hates them or something like that. So, for an autistic child, like things are like things that neurotypical children will think about, an autistic child will like multiply it by 10, is how I'll say it. So if a neurotypical child thinks, oh, this parent doesn't like me, an autistic child will think this parent hates me, that kind of thing. So it's important that in a household, if there are two adults, that both of you are implementing the same strategy when it comes to autistic child, when it comes to any child really, but more so with an autistic child. You want to implement the same strategy, you want to have the same goals, and all of that. And if another thing is, if only one parent is the one doing everything and the other parent is so unbothered, then that parent is kind of drained. The one that is doing everything right is drained and tired most of the time. And so again, that takes away from the energy and the supply that you have to actually pour into that child. So at the end of the day, really, you really, really need as much help as possible. And if you're a single parent, you need help from family and friends. Again, it's people who know your child, accept your child, and love your child, right? You need help from them, even if it's just them helping you with groceries or them helping you babysit or things like that. You need help with them. You need help from them. So I mean, if you're watching this and you're an autism parent and you need the help and you're not getting the help, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you that somehow God opens the doors and brings people your way that will help you, because you do need it. We need each other when it comes to raising a child on the spectrum. If you want to send this to family and friends to help them understand how much you need them, then go ahead and share it. Because sometimes people think that you don't need them, but you really do. And if the case is, or they don't know how to handle your child, then like I said, they can help with grocery shopping. Um, they can help with you taking a break sometimes, that kind of thing. Maybe when the kids are in school, maybe help with cleaning the house or something like that. If they cannot help with babysitting, they can help with other things. But they just have to be aware of the fact that you need help, because it takes a lot. It's draining to take care of a child with autism. It's really, really draining. Like just yesterday we went to a Christmas party, and Williams was very upset with Zita because she was playing with a friend and Williams wanted to play with them. And Zita doesn't mind him playing with them, but Williams gets loud and he talks in her ears and talks in her friend's ears. And so for Zita, it's like, it's too much work. And you are going to give me an ear infection or something. So she ran away from him. She and her friend ran away from Williams. So for Williams, of course, he interpreted that to mean they don't want to play with me, right? And so he started to scream and yell. So I had to go get him, and then I had to play with him. I had to play the ball back and forth with him. He didn't want to play with the other kids, even though some of them were even smaller than him, but they had more energy than him. He's like, no, they're too rough. They're too rough. I don't want to play with them. They're going to hurt me. So I had to play with him. So imagine if I was exhausted at this point, right? Imagine if I was exhausted and I didn't have the energy to do that. Then what we will have is we'll be at a party and Zita is playing with a friend and nobody wants to play with Williams. And him feeling that way for the rest of the day. That's what it will be. But because I had the energy to play with Williams, I played with him a little bit. He helped a little bit. He still wanted, he was still wanted to play with Zita and her friend. But I explained to him, I said, listen, if you're screaming in people's ears, they don't want to play with you. What if I start screaming in your ear right now? And I demonstrated it. If I start screaming in your ear right now, would you want to stay here with me? He's like, no. I'm like, exactly. So if you want people to play with you, you have to be considerate of them and their feelings and how you come across. You have to follow the rules of the game. Even if you don't like it, that's just how it works. If you want people to play with you, or if you want people to let you play with them, that's just how it works. But that's an example of me always having the energy. That's why sometimes my house is not proper. My house is not like sometimes I want to buy the food stuff, cook the food. I buy healthy, just so you know. Okay, not fast foods. So, but I do that because I just want to reserve and preserve my energy, because anything can pop up at any time when it comes to Williams, and I want to have the energy to be there for him, not just even to play with him, but to even discipline him. Like, you need energy to discipline your child or your children. You need discipline, because if you don't have the energy, then it's like, go do whatever you want, that kind of thing. And even that is not good, right? We need energy to implement discipline, or to keep a schedule in the house. You need energy to do that. Else it would be like, okay, everybody do whatever you want, that kind of thing. So bottom line is, we need this help, and we need to ask our family and friends for this help. The ones who will understand, the ones who love your child as your child is. So Jeanette said her child is 3 years old. Okay, got you. I hope my tip was able to help you, Jeanette. I hope that you find what you're looking for, but I feel like that's just something you could Google though, like how to get AAC device. Let me see if you Googled that, how to get free AAC device for autism. So the Autism Cafe, Autism Nonprofit Organizations, free AAC devices, grants, and more that provide free AAC device. Oh, see, someone says if your child has an IEP, you can request an assistive technology device assessment, an assistive technology assessment. Put the request in an email so it's documented. Continuous access to device at school because it will be included in the IEP. Oh, this one is for school. Okay. How do you get funding for? I think if you just Google it, or you can send me a DM, Jeanette, and then we can just research it together. Okay. So that this live doesn't take too long. Well, if you watched it to this point, you must really love me. Excusez-moi. Okay, leave me a comment. Tell me you watched this on the replay. And yes, on my lives on Sunday, I give out my waist trainers. So only Jeanette was here. I'm sorry I didn't say it earlier, but Jeanette, if you're still there, you can leave me a comment. Tell me if you want a waist trainer. I'll send it to you for free. It's very sturdy. Like I sold it for $60-something. So it's a very sturdy waist trainer. It's really, really good. I have from size X, S, that's extra small to extra large. So if you watch this on replay, leave me a hashtag, say hashtag replay. Tell me if this is useful for you. Share this video if you feel like, or if you feel like it will bless someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to go to church. God's blessings, guys. Bye.